Americans change jobs a lot, and every time someone leaves a job, they have a very important decision. What should you do with your 401k? Sounds like a simple question, but it's actually one regulators watch very closely because people can receive conflicted advice. So let's walk through what really happens to your 401k when you change jobs and what you should consider before making a decision. First, the good news. When you leave a job, your 401k does not disappear. It is still your money. You do have a decision to make about where that money lives next. The first option is that you can leave the money in your former employer's retirement plan. Most people don't realize this is allowed. If your balance is over $7,000, most plans will allow you to remain in the plan even after you've left the company. There can be several advantages to doing this. Employer plans often have access to institutional investment funds that are cheaper than what you might find in an individual retail account. Your former employer's plan is also overseen by a fiduciary committee that has a legal obligation to monitor the investments and act in your best interest. Another important benefit is creditor protection. Employer retirement plans governed by ERISA typically have very strong federal protections from creditors and lawsuits. The main downside is that once you leave the company, communication usually drops off. Over time, people sometimes forget about old accounts sitting with former employers. The second option is to move the money into your new employer's 401k plan. If your new employer allows these rollovers, it can be a very clean solution because it keeps your retirement savings consolidated in one place. Instead of having accounts scattered across multiple employers, everything lives in the same plan. But not all plans are created equal. Some employer plans offer excellent investment options and very low fees. Others may be more limited. So before you move into your new plan, it's worth comparing the investment lineup and costs in both plans. The third option is to roll the money into an individual retirement account or an IRA. This is where a large portion of rollovers end up. One reason is flexibility. IRAs typically offer a much wider universe of investment options than employer plans. You may have access to thousands of funds, ETFs, and even individual securities. When money moves from a 401k plan into an IRA, it moves from a fiduciary plan environment into a retail investment environment where fees and compensation structures can vary widely. Because of that, the Department of Labor closely monitors rollover recommendations. If someone recommends that you move your money into an IRA, that recommendation should be based on factors like fees, services, investment options, and protections, not simply convenience or compensation. Sometimes an IRA rollover is absolutely the right move. Sometimes leaving your money in the plan is the better option. The key is that the decision should be thoughtful, not automatic. The fourth option, yes, it exists, is to cash out your 401k. This is technically allowed, but it's usually the most expensive option from a long-term retirement perspective. If you withdraw the money before age 59 and a half, the distribution is generally subject to ordinary income taxes and often an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty. Depending upon your tax bracket, that can easily wipe out 20, 30, or even 40% of your retirement savings. For most people, cashing out a retirement account early can significantly set back their long-term progress. There are also a few administrative rules you should know about when leaving a job. If your balance is small, the plan may automatically move the money out of the plan. Today, balances between $1,000 and $7,000 can be automatically rolled into an IRA in your name. Balances under $1,000 may be sent directly to you as a distribution. Another development regulators are closely watching is something called auto-portability. Auto-portability programs are designed to help those smaller retirement accounts follow workers when they change jobs. Instead of small balances being cashed out or forgotten, these systems attempt to locate your new employer plan and move the money automatically. Now, let me tell you what I tend to see in the real world. If you're earlier in your career and your balance is relatively smaller, rolling your old account into your new employer's plan can often make the most sense, especially if the new plan has good investment options and reasonable fees. Consolidating accounts makes it much easier to manage your savings over time. On the other hand, if you are closer to retirement, an IRA often provides more flexibility once you start taking withdrawals. 401ks can have hefty distribution fees and don't typically have robust fixed income or bond options that retirees need. So the best choice can change depending upon where you are in your financial life. But the most important thing is this: don't ignore the decision. Take the time to understand your options, ask good questions, and make a deliberate choice about where your retirement savings should live. Because the decision you make when leaving a job can have a real and lasting impact on how your retirement savings grow over time. That's it for this week. This is Jeannie, the 401k lady.